Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Iron Factory IF EX-71 Fang of Botis, their version of Deathcobra. You can see them there in front of the box. We'll go ahead and put them outside real quick and look at said box. Yeah, it's an Iron Factory box. It's a little thicker than normal, and there's a reason for that. But yeah, you see there's a Fang of Botis right there in both his modes. Oh, interesting enough, that was only 4 rotors, even though he has 5. There's a Liokaiser on the back. There's a window and all the whiteness and Iron Factory's logo on there. On top, there's Iron Factory 2025 with Botis right there, and there's a Botis right there on the side, and there's, hey, look, more Botis on this side. On the bottom, you have made in China and a barcode and some warnings and whatnot. And on the back, of course, he has a whole bunch of product shots, including, hey, look, he can become an arm for Liokaiser. And also, there's the QR code, I believe, that goes to their Weibo page. So there, Weibo, yeah. And here are the instructions, which are Iron Factory instructions in the sense that, like, half the time they are very unhelpful, and the other half the time they're only marginally helpful. Yeah, so Fang of Botis, yep, Deathcobra. That's only the second Deathcobra toy ever made. Yes, there was actually one. There was a weird convention exclusive some years ago, which was apparently designed to work with the existing G1 toys, which is kind of neat, but also is like, how many people are going to be able to use that? The cross section of people who have a working Liokaiser, G1 Liokaiser, and also went to that convention. There can't be a lot. Then again, that was, well, it might have been also the same time when that weird knockoff was hitting the market. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, getting in close, yeah, you can see Deathcobra here is kind of a Cobra-ish head. You got kind of got the Cobra eyes there. You got the yellow. You got more yellow, but yeah, mostly green. You got some silver face too and red eyes. But yeah, pretty much mostly green with some yellow bits and white and all that stuff. Bits of black too. Yeah, right there. You got those yellow kneecaps. You also got a bit of a backpack between the helicopter blades and the cockpit and the tail rotor and all that stuff, all just kind of chilling out back there. But yeah, he's not too bad looking overall. And this also comes prepackaged with his fake chest plate thing or whatever if you want, so you call it. But yeah, he's not too bad looking. He's just kind of got some issues, I feel. But regardless. Posability, his head is on the ball joints. You got left and right, you got up and down, you got lots of waggles, so there's plenty there. His shoulders are also on ball joints. You got full rotation because it mind the backpack a bit. But it does technically have full 360 rotation if it wasn't for the backpack. He's also got outward, which these little bits get out of the way nicely for the outward. It goes outward that far. He does have a bicep swivel, which is also really stiff on mine, which is unfortunate because this hinge right here is super loose, which is unfortunate. He's got a double jointed elbow, so you got, full curl right there. He does have his wrists on ball joints, so there's swivel. Not really a whole lot of play beyond that because of how they're shaped. The waist here can rotate. Right there, there's a little bit of banging into the backpack a little bit. He does have an ab crunch. It's also clicky, and also then disconnects right there. So yeah, got an ab crunch. Hips on ball joints, so you got forward that far, you got back pretty much that far, although again you have to mind the backpack a bit. Outward, you do have pretty much the full splits. You do have a dedicated thigh swivel. Knees are double jointed, so you got a decent amount of bend right there. Down here at the feet, you do have ankle tilt, actually kind of both ways thanks to how he transforms. He does have a bit of side to side. You can go forward and back a bit, and the toe itself can rotate independently thanks to transformation. So again, he's got pretty standard Iron Factory articulation, although yeah, the backpack's a little annoying. But yeah, and the other problem is the forearms bits right here are just super loose, unfortunately, at least on mine. I'm not sure how loose they're on everyone's, but it sounds like they're pretty loose on everyone's. So yeah, that's the articulation. He also does come, of course, with several accessories, only some of which are relevant in this mode. Of course, he comes with alternate hands, so he's got his fist hands, but he's also got splay hands. He's got like saluting hands, and of course he's got hands for gripping things, including say weapons and whatnot. So yeah, you can swap any of them. There are those just popping off the ball joint is pretty straightforward. They're also kind of rubbery feeling. So with this guy, I feel like you have to kind of bring the hinge out there so you can pop it off the ball joint and then pop a new one on and brace it from behind so it doesn't collapse on you, because otherwise it very much will collapse all the way into the forearm. You really do not want that. That makes it a pain in the butt to get it back, fish it back out. But yeah, just pop that onto there, and there now he's got a gripping hand. so. And of course, you can swap any other hand as well, which you know, then you could use that gripping hand with several accessories, including his dedicated rifle, which is, you know, an actual rifle, you know, with this, you know, kind of the Cobra hood thing on the back there, and you can hold that, no problem. So, straightforward. He does have his spear, which, you know, is pretty typical. So, you know, all of them have a spear. So, you know, slide that in the hand and, you know, do that. Or you can, you know, pull the spear bits off. You know, he's got a stick. Or, hey, look, he's got a 5th rotor blade, which that can just, you know, take on the end. Now he's got a different kind of spear, I guess. Speared sword, sword speared, I don't know. So you got that. And of course he's got the actual transforming gun right here, which is packaged in gun mode. Significantly, you can see a bit stubbier than the other one. But you can still hold it without any real problems. Like that. So you go on that front. Then you can, yeah, hold that pretty well. And of course, this can also become his chest plate. So yeah, you can remove, if you want to do the whole actual transforming chest plate thing, just remove this one, which is a bit snug, but you know, can pull that off. And yeah, just basically take the gun barrel and tuck that away like that, and then just go ahead and plug that in. And honestly, it doesn't look too bad on him. It sticks out a bit more than I'd like, but you know, generally it doesn't look. It's one of the better looking ones of all the transforming chest plates. And of course, this can also transform into this little animal buddy, which that we just go ahead and take the head here, the animal head, and rotate that around, and then extend the body out like this, and yeah, and then yeah, get this out there, and there you go. There's a snake. He's got this post which doesn't fold away or anything, but it actually bounces on it pretty well, all things considered. It actually balances pretty well. I mean, you can see right there, it balances pretty well. So yeah, there's the snake. It's pretty straightforward, like that. So yeah, I'm gonna put the fake one back on like that. There. It balances pretty well as long as you don't mess with it too much. But yeah, it also doesn't take too much to knock it over. Just gotta be careful with it. But yeah, that's it for the really robot mode stuff, I guess. But yeah, comparisons from here. Yeah, I'll get into the rest of the accessories in the other modes because that's where they're important. As for some comparisons, getting them back a bit, because yeah, we're gonna have to do that because there's gonna be a lot of characters here now. So I'm gonna bring them back a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna put those two right. Stay. I just talked about how it stays up and now it's falling over. Here's what was it? Yeah, Kill Bison and Joe Horn. I don't actually remember off the top of my head their third-party names, so I'm just going to call them by the official names now. Daruga now. And Leo Zach right there. I'm going to go back a little bit further. Stay up. And here's Guy Hawk and Hellbat. Right there. There's the whole team of 7, I guess. Yeah, there's 7 of them. Plus the animal buddies, because why not? I haven't brought them out in a bit. Yeah, all the animal buddies too, yeah. Got this whole team for Iron Factory. Not a bad looking team if I do say so myself. Right, so back and forward a little bit. I'm gonna replace this hand. There's that hand back with the fist. Yeah, it kind of needs to be fist to transform. Because yeah, it's the open hand doesn't really work so well. It sticks out a little too much for it to work properly for transformation. So yeah, speaking of transformation, yeah. So also when it comes to articulation, you can flare these out a little bit if you want and adjust. You know, you can flare them out a little bit if you want to do, but yeah, kind of keep them down like that, more like a cape, because that's what I prefer. Yeah, transformation. So first thing, instructions will tell you to do this, but you really actually do need to, which is remove the chest plate. Yeah, don't have anything plugged in for this part. So So remove that first, then turn his head, take his head and rotate it 180 degrees, like this, and then come back here and pop this part off. Yep, there's going to be some parts forming, so you have to pop that part off. You have to untab this part right here, like that. And then right here, what you want to do is take the this gun piece and rotate that 180 degrees, and then bring out the wheel right here, then bring that over top of his head, like that, and just kind of leave it like that for now. Yeah, get this up in the center, and then rotate this right, there's a hinge right here, rotate it like this, and just kind of leave it like that for now. Down here at the arms, what you want to do is rotate the fists around so that they're facing backwards, and then collapse those in like that. And then bring these up and around like so. Yeah, bring these around like that. Open those up. Yeah. So again, rotate the fists like that. Collapse that in. Then bring this out like that. Let's say that's forward. Now, what you want to do here is take the arms, and there's a hinge right here, which also, by the way, can be a butterfly hinge, but it barely works as a butterfly hinge. I'll keep forgetting about that because none of the others have a butterfly really. But he technically does have a butterfly hinge. It's just it barely works as a butterfly, mostly because of his own design. But anyway, bring these back right here, and you see these little tabs right here. There's little slots on the center, the rotor bit. I'm going to go ahead and bring those in, and then tab that into the center rotor. Yeah, bring those in, just tab into the center rotor. Make sure the arms are straightened out as well. Let me do that. Yeah. Okay, just unplug it, and I won't plug back in. There we go. Just kind of leave it like that, and make sure these stay kind of outward, although you might have to get them out of the way a little bit. So here, what you want to do is take the tail rotor here, and you want to bring that down, and then bring this all back like this, and just kind of angle it up a little bit, just keep it out of the way. Now, down here at the feet, what you want to do, take the toes and rotate those 180 degrees like that, and like that. Now, bring it out on this hinge and bring it down like that, and then this hinge you want to rotate around like here, and rotate out right here, and then take this heel piece and bring it out like that, and then bring it out. Yeah, so yeah, bring it out like this. Bring it out like this, and just kind of have the foot like sitting like that. So again, bring it out right here. Bring this, yeah, bring it out. Bring this out on this hinge and rotate it out like this. Bring this out, and then have it, yeah, see there's this hinge right here. You want to bring it around here and just kind of have it sitting like that, more or less. Put this all the way out like that. So it looks kind of like that right now. Then you go ahead and open this up. This is the part this is the part where the instructions are very unclear. It was basically what to do with the legs. You want to open up this panel right here. You want to fold the leg in, collapse the leg around like this. Make sure this hinge stays flat. Yeah, because you see there's multiple hinges in there. You want to make sure the gray hinge stays together. This is the thing, you want to make sure that clears. It clears this little wing thing, and bring it all the way in and close that up right there. And right here, what you want to do is bring this down, and there's a tab right here which will go in a little slot right there. You can see that. So come down and tab in right there like this, like that. And again, just kind of leave this sitting like that for now. And you can bring the skull back up like that, out like that. See, like sitting like that. And so then same thing on this side. Open that up. Rotate the leg around. Rotate the around right here. Again, make sure to clear this thing. Clear the little wing thing. See, yeah, you don't want that to happen. You want it to collapse all the way in. That, and then close that up right there. Go ahead and then bring this down, and then yeah, bring this down and tab that in right there. Like that, and then just kind of leave that right there like that. Go ahead and tab the legs together like so. Make sure it's all straightened out, and this will come down to kind of hook in between. See, these hooks will go in like this. This is again another part that's not very explained very well. You want to hook that in so it's sitting like that. Now see, that will sit right there, and that will be all nice and straight. And right here, yeah, right here, what you want to do, and this is the reason why you have to remove the chest panels, because if you don't, this will not sit properly. You want to bring this flat back and bring this forward, and there's a slot right here in the foot, which will go, this tab right go in right there. bring them together like this, and they'll kind of sit like that. Just kind of sit like that together, and you can do whatever you want. Yeah, the wing like that. Yeah, and then same thing on this side. Bring these together right here. Tap this together like that. Now it's mostly done. Now, as for the rotor, you want to take this piece of the rotor and you want to bring it over top of this. There's kind of a particular way. You see, this is a cutout that goes. Yeah, that cutout is where these rotor bits come in. So you want to make sure that lines up right. Bring it all the way down. Then, you know, straighten out the rotors. They're gonna see there's a kind of a pentagon in the middle. You want to make sure the rotors are each rotor sticking out straight from each side of the pentagon. Right there. And then you take this extra one and see there's a peg hole and there's a peg. You just peg that in right there. And now you have the little helicopter. Make sure that's all straightened out. Yeah, adjust the. Oop, that came untabbed because it doesn't actually tab in super securely. Yeah, straighten out the wings if you like, or adjust those, because yeah, they don't sit nicely no matter what you do. Really, it doesn't look right. But there you go. There's Deathcobra, or Fang of Botis, in his vehicle mode. And yeah, it's a helicopter of some sort. I think it's supposed to be kind of I think it's supposed to be based on a hind or something. But yeah, it's kind of also chunky as heck because of the nature of how he what he has to do. So it's a little disappointing. Yeah, you got the nice little orange translucent cockpit right there. But yeah, you get these generally just really chunky helicopter with these little tiny stubby wings, which unfortunately don't lock in anywhere. They're also really loose. The hinges are really loose, so it's really easy to knock them out of alignment. I'm not even sure how you're supposed to have them. I'm just kind of doing like right that for now. But yeah, the wheels are down here. These got landing gear. They don't move at all. There's no rotation there, and also the inner part, like the central part, looks weirdly kind of unfinished and hollow. So that little stinks a little bit. But as for stuff you can do, yeah, those guns can swivel back and forth right here. This is supposed to rotate, but it rotates, but it's there's a lot of friction, so yeah, unfortunately you got this going on where it's like, yeah, there's no free spinning. This freely spins, which is nice, but yeah, and also because of how it transforms, this can wiggle a lot, which is not really exactly what I'd like it to do, but it's not terrible, but it could be, honestly, I feel like it could be better. And unfortunately, again, like I said, you have to get the, yeah, when you can't have this plugged in, or else these panels will, yeah, the problem is if you have to leave this chest piece plugged in, these panels will not be able to go over top, and you can see there's actually a gap now between the, yeah, so you could basically replug it in if you want, but yeah, it's not gonna be able to sit flush like it's with it transformed properly. Because I saw that, I was like, yes, because instructions tell you to leave the panel with the chest panel on, which is weird because that doesn't work. You have to remove the chest panel. So yeah. Other than that, though, yeah, there's really not much else. It's kind of a okay helicopter. It's not my favorite, to say the least. It's really just not my favorite kind of. I typically like helicopter transformers, but this one honestly really is lacking. To be honest, this one just feels like it's lacking in a way. Just like, you know. In particular, yeah, it's so chunky. I get, but just my problem is just simply how this center mass looks, and also these wing bits just are kind of look stubby because of how chunky it is, and also they just kind of, they don't lock in anywhere. I wish they did. And of course, also for me personally, the rotor just doesn't spin freely, which kind of stinks. And also it's weird because I'm not sure how common it is for a 5-blade rotor to be a thing, but it's weird to me that they did it like that, particularly with the parts forming and everything. But whatever. I'm not sure how accurate that is. I'm not an expert on helicopters, but there might be I don't know. It's just kind of odd to me, but whatever. Again, we're going to bring in the whole team here. Actually, I'm going to try to do it a little bit differently. We'll see how this works out. Try to bring in the whole team. Yeah, there's Deathcobra there, so look, Hellbat, yeah. It's fine if they're together next to each other, right? Yeah, there's a drill horn. There's Jaguar. There's Liokaiser. Kill Bison. And Guy Hawk. Oop, just kind of collapsed. Yeah, landing gear collapsed. Yeah, there's the team. All 7 of them now. All 7 of them are here. Deathcobra will probably be fine. You know, Botis, yeah, Fang of Botis will probably be fine next to, you know, Hellbat, right. There's the team. It's okay, you know, it's the Iron Factory. They're very, you know, they look pretty good together overall. I feel like the vehicle mode is definitely pretty weak for when it comes to Fang of Botis. Same with Drill Horn, honestly. Both these two are probably the weakest when it comes to vehicle modes. These two, Drill Horn and Fang of Botis are probably the weakest of the whole thing, at least when it looks. As for transformation itself, yeah, the thing with the feet on that was the other thing, was thing with the feet on him, that getting the feet maneuvered in such a way, you know, around and everything is kind of difficult in the sense that, like, it feels like no matter what I orient it wrong, no matter what I do, I always orient the foot wrong, and then it always clashes with the wing thing and everything. So I don't know. And it also doesn't help the instructions themselves to not make it clear. It feels like it skips multiple kind of important steps there. So you're just like, eh. And then suddenly you're in hell. It's showing something like, how did you get it to there? How did you get it there? Doesn't even, like, I don't think it mentions it barely mentions like the tail rotor over kind of clipping in right there. But yeah, that's the vehicle mode. Now, of course, Deathcobra, or Fang of Botis here, is of course compatible with the full combined mode of well, Iron Factory's Liokaiser. He is fully compatible with this guy. Now, there's a couple things you can do. There are 2 options. Also, when it comes to the combined mode stuff, yeah, once again, yeah, you got the stick, the big bunch of stick stuff. So, you know, more of this. If you don't already have enough, there's plenty more. So there's that. Now, so there's one thing you do. One obvious option is regarding the backpack. Now, he can be stuck onto the back. There's also these things, wings for him. And attaching this stuff is pretty straightforward. Whereas first you're gonna have to take, you know, no gun for Liokaiser now. You got, you know, separate this stuff. I was talking about this stuff a little bit, but yeah, separating this stuff out into separate things. And unlike what I thought, there's they don't go on like, you know, like this. They actually go on opposite sides. So they go on like these sides, like this. And the reason for that is these big old holes right here line up with the wing bits. See, the wings right here. There's this big old tab right here will go into there like that, and then you take this piece right here and then rotate it around like this, and then kind of have it sit like that, and then that goes in right here. This tab will go into the back right here like so, and then with the wing you go ahead and do this with the wings, and you know, can spread them out and everything, and hey, there you go. That's one side, and then the same thing, this goes on right here like this, and then take this piece and bring it up and rotate it around like that. And this will tab on the other side like that. And then, of course, again, you can spread the wings out and bring these out like so. Whatever you want to do there. And now Liokaiser has wings, which, okay. He's also kind of become a little back heavy, so I have to kind of lean him forward a little bit. But now he's got these wing things. And the thing is, right here, Deathcobra comes with, or I keep saying Deathcobra because it's easier, but yeah, Fang of Botis comes with these 2 things. There's one for him, and there's one for Hellbat. The one for him, you can see there's also slight differences between the 2 of them. This one right here with the curves, like the extra bits, that's for Deathcobra. For that, what you want to do is, to get them ready to go, is basically fold away the landing gear and then rotate this. They tell you to rotate this all the way around, but you can't do that because the landing gear is in the way. And yeah, you can fold up this landing gear too. And then what you do is this is supposed to just plugs in right here like that. And unfortunately, it's kind of loose. It doesn't really, like, it's supposed to clearly click into place, but it doesn't. And then this little tab at the bottom, that is plugs into this little, there's a slot right here on the gun handle for those guns. Yeah, there's a slot here, and what you do is just plug it in like that. And then this right here, coming to the back here, there's this big old slot right here, and this just tabs in right there like that. like so, and there you go. Now you have Deathcobra on the back. I guess this was supposed to be like almost like helicopter rotors, blades, or something like that. I'm not sure. I guess that's what it's supposed to represent. But yeah, you can do that, which doesn't look bad. It's kind of goofy. I mean, Deathcobra almost feels kind of useless. And on top of that, yeah, it's because it's so loose, it comes off really easily, which is weird to me. I'm not sure why that's so loose, and apparently that's a very common problem. It also makes the Liokaiser very back heavy. But the other bonus is, I remember I was complaining about how there's a whole bunch of leftover parts. Well, now there's something you can do that. See, each wing, you can see there's a little square hole in each wing, 2 square holes in each little wing thing, which means yes, you can plug parts in. You know, like, hey, look, here's the, you know, the chest master, whatever, breast master, whatever you want to call them. You can plug in, like right there. You can plug them all in, just, you know, in the chest, pretty much in the chest mode, because, well, yeah. I guess you probably could put them in the gun mode, but. Some of these are a little tougher to get in than the others. And again, very back heavy now. You can see he is leaning back pretty bad now. And the Botis just came off. That's one big problem. Botis comes off really easily. Yeah, see, now you see the chest animals are all plugged in here. Also on top of that, you know, because of stuff, there's hinging. These can hinge. You know, these wings can, you know, if you're not careful though, the wings can hinge forward and back a bit. Right here, they can, you know, the top one and the bottom one can both go up and down. They can also rotate a little bit because they're on pegs. They're just pegs pegged in, so you can rotate them a little bit on that peg. And of course, these bits all can move like that, however you want to orient them. So there's that, and of course there's still 6 more holes. The little fake chests like these, the fake ones, you cannot. These, unfortunately, because of how they'll work, these pegs are way too shallow. You cannot peg them on. So that's a little unfortunate, but you can peg the dedicated guns on as well if you want, because there's enough. There is enough. There's enough peg holes for that, if you'd like. Although, like that one, the pink Guy Hawk's gun, because of the little hand guard, unfortunately, which makes it, well, it doesn't peg in all the way because of the hand guard. Same with Hellbats. Of course, the other thing being the kind of the problem. Actually, I'm not sure if that's a problem. Hold on, I just noticed something. There are pegs right there, which makes, I was gonna say, I just noticed those just now. I was gonna say I thought maybe you can't plug in Deathcobras, but now I think I just realized you can plug in Deathcobras. You're gonna have to move these out of the way. Just move that. Just kind of fold those up, and then does that work? Does that work? Let's find out. Yes, it does. Which means yes, you can get. I think it does. Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. Those peg on as well. Which means, yeah, you can unplug all that on there. That kind of cuts down a little bit, but unfortunately you still have, you know, all the fake, I guess the static chests. I keep calling them fake, but yeah, like, you still have the static chests hanging out. But yeah. Yeah, you can have all that right there like that. Which is pretty cool, to be honest, that you can do all that now. That's now a thing you can do. So now he's got the wings and everything. That's one thing. That is one configuration. However, there is a second configuration, which of course, which you remember, you know, from Victory there, which is straight up. Deathcobra was supposed to, replace Hellbat. So doing that real quick. Yeah, basically getting Deathcobra ready to go. Get Deathcobra. I'm gonna get him off to the side for it's just a second, just for focus sake and whatnot. Now getting Deathcobra ready. To do that, what you want to do is getting all that ready to go. Getting him into in his vehicle mode. From his vehicle mode here. From his vehicle mode here, what you want to do, getting that landing gear put away and everything, and that spun back around. Untab that, untab the feet from here, and just kind of bring these panels back forward like so. Feet. Position differently. That also get the feet out of the way like that, and then untab that part right here. What you want to do is make sure this is sitting like this. You want this, basically it doesn't really matter which blade is which, but you guys make sure it's just sitting like that as a, I guess, pentagon thing, and then take this and you want to fold this up right here. There's, if you can see, but there's a tab right here on the tail rotor which goes in that little bit right there. You have to use the hinges right here, and also untab the arms from there, and then just angle this up a bit like that, and then this will kind of sit like this more or less. You want to collapse that like that, and there's a tab, there's a slot and tab right there. You want to make sure to have that seated like that, and that's gonna sit like that. So that's how you have the tail rotor and everything sitting. And then of course then you extend the abdomen. You know, that was a thing. That was another thing. Yeah, right there is, you get that extended out. You rotate, fold these back up, and then you bring the arms back forward, and use the double jointed elbow and kind of make a little block right here. See, there's little slots right here, and there's the tabs right here on the arm. You make sure to line those up like that. And same thing, rotate, collapse the wing back up, bring the arm back out, close this all up right here, and then go ahead and get that tab in that slot right there, like that. Sit there like that. And the legs here, what you want to do is untab them. You want to untab them from there, bring them around right here. Bring it around right here and have it sitting like this. But then also bring it around like that. Yeah, so untab this and bring it around and rotate this on this hinge, and then bring it down like this, and then bring this around like this, and then bring it all the way around like this. So it's kind of sitting more or less like this. Yeah, more or less like this, right? And then, hey, there's a extra piece. Yep, it's the extra piece here for the arm mode. This is an extra bit. You have to unfold that. And this right here, this will tab in right here, and then to hold it really secure in place, because that's actually not a lot. That's like, there's like no friction there. See, there's tabs right here which go up into the little slots on the feet right here. So you want to kind of bring the feet up a little bit so then they can, rest over top like that, and then it just kind of hooks in like so. And then rotate this, right here at this joint. You want to rotate it like that, and kind of bring this forward a little bit out of the way, so then you can get this in here with this little piece. Yep, it's a little white little guard piece, and you clip that over that, like that, and boom, you have Deathcobra, or Fang of Botis. Oh, almost. Whoa, what happened there? I got a little whack. Yeah, you got Fang of Botis in his arm mode. That's ready to go. So then, bringing Liokaiser back. Unplugging Hellbat. Unplug Hellbat, and then you can plug in Deathcobra, Fang of Botis. Plug them in right here. Unfortunately, weirdly enough, this is way looser. This comes off really easily now. Yeah, on top of that, the rotors kind of messed with the wings. So you have to kind of angle the wings back a little bit, because, the rotors just kind of mess with the wings a little bit. Yeah, but now you got a green arm instead of a blue one. My only thing here is, the big problem here is, normally I like asymmetry on my combiners, but the problem is Liokaiser goes out of its way to try to be symmetrical. Other than color, it tries to be symmetrical. So a Deathcobra here just throws the whole thing out of whack. So now you got this, kind of cool shoulder wing thing. You had it over here, and now it's all of a sudden, you got this weird kind of mess of a rotor thing going on, which is a little unfortunate. But yeah, I'm not sure what else you can do, really. No? It's like, yeah, the rotor has to go somewhere. It's not like, you know, other combiners, again, like Devastator, Bruticus, all of them, a lot of them don't bother with the symmetry thing, so like it works, you know, their asymmetry works. With him going out of his way to try to be symmetrical, this kind of doesn't work very well, in my opinion. I mean, you still got, theoretically, it's pretty much the same articulation overall, you know, outward and butterflies and rotation, and, you know, you got the bicep swivel above the elbow, you got the elbow joint, which is double jointed, and then you got the swivel below, and then you got the hands are pretty much the same with, you know, full hand articulation. But yeah, that, again, comes off really easily. They changed something. Apparently it's a common thing, which apparently Deathcobra has a slight, they did something where they made Deathcobra actually have like a slightly larger peg holes and whatnot, which is very strange in my opinion. Now the thing is, you don't have to leave Hellbat off, you know, we're going to get Hellbat, basically Hellbat back into his vehicle mode. Okay, so, Hellbat's back in his vehicle mode. Now, what you want to do here is, well, you remove the Deathcobra, like, thing right here, right? You remove the Deathcobra arm plate thing, which by the way also, yeah, is hinged. I keep forgetting to mention that. Yeah, this has a, you know, ratcheted hinge thing, so you can adjust how he sits, although, yeah, including down here, but yeah, that doesn't, yeah, so you can adjust how it sits, but yeah, you remove this, the handle from this as well, because there's a different one, and again, you can see the difference between the two pieces. See? Yeah, so with Hellbat, what you do again is from vehicle mode, you know, fold that up. You can fold that up, that landing gear up, and then you untab the arms from the wings, and you untab the wings from here, and this rotate them, you know, get the arm out of the way so you can rotate this up here. Now to tell you, this is supposed to, like, this shows the wings like underneath these bits right here, but that doesn't work. At least not, as far as I can tell, it doesn't work very well. So I don't do that. I bring it over top like that, and then just kind of bring the arms back down like that. And then right here, using this, you just, well, tab this on. This goes on a little more securely than the Deathcobra one, I feel. Yeah, anyway, from there, just, you know, angle this as you want. Again, that's a little tight. And then, yep, re-tab this on if you like. You don't have to, but, you know, it's a nice little storage spot, so it's not just chilling out. And then, plug it onto the back. Plug it onto the back, and now Hellbat's on the back instead, like that. And again, you can angle him how you want, you know, using the ratchets and all this stuff, though they're very tight. They're incredibly tight, but yeah, you can plug them on if you want. And yeah, you can have that configuration instead with, yeah, Botis as the, Fang of Botis as the arm and Hellbat as the backpack. But again, like I said, I think I prefer Hellbat as the arm and him as the backpack, if anything. Although, yeah, that's the thing. Deathcobra, in the end, kind of feels like kind of almost pointless. I mean, he brings the cool wing thing, which lets you have the extra storage, but yeah, as a whole extra thing, like, yeah, you have the whole seventh member doesn't actually contribute much. They just kind of chill on the as a backpack, which I'm not sure is the greatest way to do things. Again, the HasLab has the whole, oh, they can turn into a shoulder cannon, which I feel that's a lot more useful than it just chills out on the back. But regardless, yeah. So yeah, we got, I guess, finally for the first time ever a full, well, I guess kind of first time ever. Again, there was that weird, again, convention exclusive, but yeah, full 7-man team of Liokaiser. And it's cool. It's kind of cool. Yeah, so as a whole, that's the thing, is because this is the way how this review had to work. Yeah. As a whole, Fang of Botis here, he's got a pretty good looking robot mode. The transformation is kind of weird and a little, some of it feels like it's kind of banging into itself. Plus you got the parts forming, which can be, it's a little, because of the way they insisted on doing it, it's kind of one of those things like, do they really need to do parts forming? But I don't know, it's I guess the aesthetic they wanted dictated parts forming. As an arm, he's okay, I guess. As an arm, he's kind of alright, but I definitely prefer Hellbat as an arm. Otherwise, yeah, he just kind of plugs on the back. He does bring with him the cool new wing things, which, yeah, those are pretty neat, and which also brings storage for all the, like, the guns and chest animals or whatever, but yeah. Also on top of that, both connections for Fang of Botis, both of his connections for combined mode are kind of on the looser side, which is weird. I don't know why that's the case. It seems to be, again, it's not just my copy. Apparently, it's a very common issue. So yeah. Again, it also brings more extraneous parts, including again more staff stuff, another spear, and for some reason they decided to design it in such a way that you have to have 2 of these rather than just 1. So yeah. He's pretty great as a whole, but yeah, as an extra, he's not unnecessary. That's the nice thing is, if you don't want Deathcobra, you have to get him. He's not necessary, particularly if you're like more of a purist. If these wings bother you, you don't have to have them on there. You can just not ever have Deathcobra. You know, you just not have Deathcobra. You know. And again, as an arm, he works, but I feel like aesthetically, he just doesn't work as well as Hellbat does. So. That's a bit of a problem in my opinion, but it's not the biggest problem. But yeah, overall he costs about, what was it, $45-ish before shipping and tariffs and all that stuff, which is not a bad price if you can get it for that, you know, somewhere in that price, great. But he's not necessary if you don't need him. So if you don't really want him, he's not necessary, which is good. He's just kind of, I don't know if he fully justifies as a 7th member necessarily. What he brings is kind of neat, but also feels a little superfluous. It makes Liokaiser a bit back heavy. And again, he just doesn't, I don't feel like he works as well as an arm as Hellbat does. And as a backpack, it's just kind of silly. He's just kind of chilling out on the back there. So yeah, it's one of those weird things. He's kind of overall, as an individual figure, he's pretty great. And that's one of those things. You might also want to go ahead and have him, like, I don't know, off to the side as his own figure next to Liokaiser. That's one option you can have if you want. You don't have to attach him, but it's just kind of a weird thing because it feels like he almost has more value as a individual figure rather than as a combiner member. So he's a weird thing. And also his helicopter mode is also very odd looking, just because it looks kind of weirdly chunky and disproportionate. So he's a weird mixed bag. I don't know how to feel about him. I think overall he might be one of the weaker members. I think, yeah, generally the legs are probably weaker just because the transformations are terrible comparatively. But he's kind of down there. I think, yeah, all the upper, like all the other 4 members, so like Liokaiser, Jaguar, Skyhawk, and Hellbat, I feel are better overall figures than Fang of Botis. But Fang of Botis is slightly better than, just because the transformation is not as bad as Kill Bison and Joelhorn. So he's kind of down there in the ranks, in my opinion. But yeah, he feels like he's somewhat superfluous. And honestly, unless you just really want a Deathcobra, you don't need to worry about getting him. He's just not that big of a, honestly, he's not that huge of a contribution, other than the wings are kind of cool, but not necessary, you know, or like me, you just got really bothered by, there's all this extra stuff that has nowhere to go. So there's that, I guess. That's kind of rambly, and this might be a bit of a longer video just because of the nature of things, but there you go. That's Fang of Botis. Well priced, but he's kind of a mixed bag in the end just because of various weird decisions, I guess. So that's it for this review. I hope you found it informative and entertaining. Hope you like, comment, subscribe. Check out my social media. It's down in the description. And at the end of the video, check out my Coffee and my Patreon. And I shall see you next time with another video review.